Greetings, class, and welcome to week 3 of Supervision of Instruction. I'm Robb, your instructor, and I'm making this video in the hopes of adding clarity to your understanding. Hopefully we'll be successful. I have 2 pieces of advice to start off this short video, is that make your work relevant. Your readings and your writings and whatever tasks you have to do, keep in mind, how does this apply to me as a learner? How does this apply to me as an aspiring administrator? How does this apply to my work setting right now? Those kinds of connections, which I'm sure many of you already do, but if you're not, you're wasting your time. You're simply going through the motions, getting your certification, but nonetheless, you'll get much more out of it if you are always trying to find those pieces of relevance. Even when you say, this really does not work for me. Why is that? And think about yourself as a learner. So number 2, be efficient. Think about the notion of good enough. An administrator and a teacher has more work than can possibly be done. And so you have to make priorities. In this course, you don't have a choice of doing the work or not. But you do have a choice to when you've reached the standard, and then where are we going from it's at quality to being excellent or perfect. So what's the point of diminishing returns, and what's value added, and what is your motivation? So I am encouraging you to do a good job, but get it done. I want everyone to succeed in this class, and I know you can. I'm going to help you get through that by breaking up the CP2A paper, so we write certain sections at a time, and it will be much easier, and we get it early on in the course. And then the second part is, although it has equal weight in the grading, it would be more activities that you record with your observation in your conferences. So I think this is going to be a good way to be successful. So looking at your discussion board entries, you're doing a wonderful job. I would encourage you not to do reference APA references. Simply state where you, like in a text-based protocol, you know, what part of the reading did it come from, or who said this, and that's it. And not, so it's just not your own ideas. You know, attribute the ideas to where they came from, and it would be the readings, of course, and this week it's going to be the videos. So how do the videos and the readings connect, and your thinking as well? So also, if you look at the course schedule, you know it's coming up. So in many cases, you could start the readings earlier so that you can get your first entry in by Wednesday evening, because otherwise, what happens, I've taught this course enough times, is that when you do your entry at the very end of the week or later, just so you can get it done, then you're not really part of the discussion. And this is a discussion board, and so you need to contribute as a class member. I realize there is the challenge of time during the week. Many of you have so many other demands during the week, and weekend might be the only time you can do it. So I'm going to try to get, you can anticipate looking at the schedule what the readings are. And after this week, the next 2 weeks are going to be 9 characteristics of highly effective schools. And it's, you may not read it from beginning of the page to the end, but might go through sections and skim certain pieces too. So it's a great document, but it's maybe not one you sit down and read from beginning to end. Okay, so I want to talk about this week in the schedule, and then I'm going to talk about the CP2A rubrics and demystify some of that. First of all, the schedule for this week, then you have chapters 5, 6, and 21 to read. Chapter 5 you can skim, but look at the very end of the chapter. It's a very short chapter anyway, but it has some questions about you as you work with groups that are different than yourself, thinking about your cultural competency. Then chapter 6 is about leadership, and kind of like a 360 in a way. So what are some of the areas that you have strengths in? What are some areas that you have room for growth? And finally, chapter 21 is about diversity, and so once again about cultural competency. So the reason why I put those readings to this week is because I also want you to look at some videos and make those comparisons, but then also start your first page of this CP2A, which is dispositions and cultural competency. And so I think from your discussion board entries and also your thinking, you could easily write a rough draft for one page. I'm going to have you upload that next week and have peer review of that page so people can read each other's and give a little bit of feedback. So that would be a nice way for us to share. So I want to have you look right now at the CP2A rubrics, and I'm going to just point out a couple things of significance to have us see it more clearly. So, and why do I not have it here? Here it is. Okay, here we go. So if you look at the first line, it gives an overview. It says, a school administrator is an educational leader who promotes the success of all students through sustaining a culture of student learning and staff professional growth. Then the next sentence I think is really key to our structure. And I'm going to lay it out real clearly all the headings I want you to have. So you're just going to be filling it in. Of course, it'll be meaningfully, but I'll help you be successful in the structure. So in this assignment, the candidate uses school improvement plan and other artifacts from the school or program to describe, critique, and recommend next steps for improving the school program's central strategies for improving instruction and student learning. That's really the essence of the paper. So when we break it down, and we're starting to break it down right now, is if you look at the rubrics, there's 20% of paper is context, and 20% is dispositions and cultural competency. And I think we can knock those off, or at least get them started before we get to the body of the paper. So in terms of length of the paper, I am suggesting that you would not be able to do much, be successful with less than 10 pages, because you'll need to have an introduction and a conclusion, no abstract please, and then you want to have a context, which would describe your setting, and then you would have dispositions and cultural competency. So you look at that, that's already 4 pages. So you'd have 6 pages left just to look at the plan, critique it, and make recommendations. So it's easy, it's doable. You'd have a page for references. I'm not counting that as part of your 10 pages, and you'd have your title page. So the sample is not much longer than 10 pages, so I think it's real doable. You know, it's double spaced and all that. Okay, so I'm going to have us jump right into now dispositions and cultural competency. The reason why I'd like to have it as a separate page is because for me to review your work and have it embedded would be quite difficult for me to see, well, did you really have it throughout? I'd rather just see it all in one section. We can look at it real quickly and see that you've met the standard and above standard. And I'm expecting above standard because I think it's very doable as well. So let me just state that, go over that real quickly, and you can follow with me. Here we are it's below knowledge, 20%, dispositions and cultural competence. It says that the candidate discusses personal and professional dispositions for visionary leadership and instructional improvement, the educability of all students, high standards for learning, belief, and et cetera, inclusion, cultural responsive programs, teacher and leadership quality, effectiveness, and impact on student learning and student success. So what is above standard? Well, this is where I want us to be successful in as a group, because I think it's really critical. And that is that the candidate describes plans to continuously examine personal assumptions, beliefs, and practices in order to increase self and others' capacity to share and work together toward positive impact on student learning and student success. Personal assumptions and beliefs are really at the heart of why we oftentimes don't close the opportunity gap, because we do have some biases and stereotypes and that sort of thing that are so embedded in our society. So anyway, we're going to do more. That's the focus of this week. So I want to give you a quick analogy of why I'm doing it this way. I was successful in a doctoral program, but I think I was lucky to get through because our program at that time was more focused on individually, you do your dissertation, and it really was the people who could stick with it and somehow had a dissertation title or substance that they were able to get through with their research and that sort of thing. And so as a lot of people in the program, even those that are practitioners degree, did not graduate because it wasn't about time. You'll get through it, then, whether you're fast or slow, it's about doing the work. But what they found was people got overwhelmed and they weren't able to do it on their own. So they moved to a more portfolio program, and that was much more successful, more people graduating. And I think like, well, yeah, but then does it mean as much? Well, their portfolio was also much broader in the substance. And so if you're thinking of superintendent, that sort of thing, would you rather hire someone who knows a lot of things and maybe not deeply of everything, or one thing really deeply? So I think perhaps that makes more sense of that kind of program. So I want to approach this paper the same way, that we're all going to be successful because we're going to do it together. Okay, I hope that allays some of your concerns, and I want you to have a good week, and we'll stay in touch with the discussion board and emails, and thank you so much for taking this class, and I am confident that you will find the learning in this class to be apropos, relevant, and inspiring. Have a good week.